Welcome to another episode of Treasure Corals. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a newly released MXM module by Neptune. This is the box for it, and I've already hooked up this unit, and looks like I'm not the only one who's interested. This is what the unit looks like. As with any other standard Neptune equipment, you just plug it in with the cable which came in the box, and then make sure that before you do this you have upgraded your Neptune, so Apex system, you've upgraded your Mobius software, and you've upgraded your Neptune software on the phone. So it comes in this beautiful box, and I just gotta give kudos to Neptune for really upping their game in packaging. This actually looks very modern. I like these cutouts, and inside of it the presentation was pretty awesome. So the unit kind of sitting at an angle looking at you. It has the USB cable, which is how you power the unit, but make sure that you only plug it in into the Apex system. And then once you plug it in, the app would have found it right away, the Neptune app, and then you can pair it with Mobius. But before we will do the pairing, I want to answer the question that I've asked myself when I found out that MXM unit became available. Why would you need this? You already have an awesome Neptune app, and you have the Mobius app, and you know, Mobius is awesome because you've got your different scenes, and there's all these different buttons. So for example, I've pressed just one button to do this video, which immediately turns off the flow in the tank, my Versa, as well as it changes my light spectrum. So this is something I've pre-configured in Mobius. Now I have many rules in my Neptune Apex system as well. So for example, if I'm feeding things, I press one button and let's say certain things will change. Now this is where the new unit really comes into play. Before, when I would press the feed A button on my Apex, I had to just turn off the power to my Versa, and then my Versa is off, then my sensor for skimmer kicks in and turns it off. And for example, I haven't programmed at the time this Nero 7, so it would still be running on, and I'd have to go to Mobius and turn yet another scene. Plus I have this very old Aqua controller, so I think I've had it for over 10 years, it still works. And just pressing one button, I want to be able to, and I love my physical buttons, I want to be able to turn everything off. So now with MXM, you can actually do this, which means that when you invoke an action, whether it's manual or automatic, so for example, your temperature probe reads a certain value, or maybe there's a float switch, or when you press the feed button. So when you press that button or invoke that action, you can control your blade, you can control your Radeon G5 and G6, you can do your Neros, you can do your Vortec power heads, you can do your Vectra 2 pumps, so the ones that do the return. The only thing you cannot do is Versa dozer. So this is the only thing I'm not going to be able to hook up, which I think I'll still have to do kind of the old way of controlling the power to the unit. However, I have another use case. So when I feed my coral, I actually don't want to take my phone out. I want to just press a button on my controller, and I want the flow to turn off in both my Vectra and my power head to maybe switch to the slowest mode during this time. Now before MXM, I would have to do this in Mobius, and one issue with this is that my skimmer would still be running. I cannot really control it other than the indirect turning on and off of the switch, which gets triggered when the water level comes up. Now I will be able to do this all with just pressing one physical button in my Neptune, and not only I can control the skimmer, so I can, for example, turn it off for not just 30 minutes, but let's say 4 hours, so give it enough time for all the coral food to circulate through the aquarium. But I can now control both the flow of my Nero. So maybe I will do a slower flow, or maybe I'll do no flow and then slower flow, and I can control my Vectra as well. So this is really awesome, and since I do feed my coral quite regularly, now I can be really elaborate in terms of how to do it, and it's all going to be through one app. As a matter of fact, let's take a look as to how we would add MXM unit to your aquarium. So I have a lot of aquariums, but you will just go and press add to tank button, which is a standard thing on the home screen of Mobius. And then my lagoon tank is the one that you can see in front of me. So I just press on that. You can see that I have my MXM showing up. And if I click on that, press next, let's check the firmware, which is correct. And it says finishing setup. Once this is done, we will see it as just one regular device in the Mobius app, alongside with my Vectra, my Nero 7, my AI blades, etc. And let's go to the devices. Yep, it's right here. So this was pretty easy, not different than adding any other aqua elimination or AI product. And if we go to settings, devices, you can actually see it all the way at the bottom. We can see the firmware, we can see all other information of this particular unit, including the serial number, should you ever need it. So let's go back. And now I have this Nero 7 that I want to pair. All I need to do is press one button, press on this device itself, and you can see that on Nero 7 there's a little plus on top of it. So if I press that and press done, that's it. You don't need to do anything else, and you've already paired your Nero 7 to the MXM unit. That means that now we will be able to see it in your Neptune Apex app. So now if I go to my Treasure Lagoon in Apex app, I will see it under the tiles. So if I scroll all the way to the right, let's take a look. Is there Nero 7 here? Yep, it's right here. So I'm going to take this unit and I'm going to drag it right over here. Done. So now I can control my Nero 7 from my Apex. And it's as simple as I can control it on and off. So this is me turning it off, this is me turning it on, or I can do auto. And I can now go and do your standard power head configuration, same way as you would do for any other Apex Neptune power head. You can use the same schedules, and I think this is the default one that they give you. Now, right now it's 3:54 p.m. So we are in this constant mode at 100%, but I can go into, say, pulse and just reprogram it. And let's take a look. I think it's going to start pulsing. Right now it's pulsing 2 seconds on and 2 seconds off, and you can see it already that it's doing exactly that. I like that I can control both the on and off time. I can always do random. I can do things throughout the day the way I want it. I like kind of their default settings, as this is pretty easy. So I've configured this to be under pulse. And if we go back to kind of the main dashboard, I'm not sure what TBL means. I'd be curious to find out. And I have not yet figured out how I would go about renaming Nero 6.1, which I think 6 is the bus unit and then 1 is the first one in that unit. How I would go about changing it to something else. Right now, through the app, I don't see a way to do this. And I can further customize the flow to increase the on time of my Nero 7 to 5 seconds and off for 2 seconds to give those torches a little bit of a break. Notice that it's running at 100%, and even then it's not an issue for my torches here. And you can see that this Nero 7 is doing exactly that. It's going to be on for about 5 seconds, make those torches move, and then it's going to relax for about 2 seconds, give them a little bit of a break, and then turn it back on. Now, I have been using only one power head, this Nero 7, on this 5-foot, 160-gallon aquarium, and all of my LPS corals, all of my softies are extremely happy. So I still have not added any more flow, and you can see that these torches have grown and they've been very happy. But even if we go on to the other side, everybody seems to be quite happy here as well. So that's the first initial look at the MXM. I know I want to do a lot more configuration. I feel that it's important for my viewers to know that this unit just hit the market. You can now program everything to your heart's content using your Apex. I love my Mobius, and I think I'm going to be using both of them interchangeably, and I like the new flexibility options that this MXM unit gives. With that said, let me know what you think of this newly announced unit. Are you going to be getting it? Can you come up with some really cool scenarios on how you would orchestrate maybe some flows from your Apex onto Mobius and vice versa? Anything that you can come up with, write in the comments below, and I'm sure I'm going to discuss it in the upcoming videos. So thanks for watching, and see you next week.